Welcome back to TV5 News at 9. It's time for Financial Wellness Wednesday with TriStar Trust Bank. We're here with Ann Hall this morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So we're talking about estate planning, and let's just dive right in. What can we do to get our affairs in order? Where do we start?
Well, one of the first things you can do is buy yourself a box of folders, file everything in those folders, and you really don't need to keep any documents past 7 years. You don't need your credit card statements and your bank statements for all those years. So put those in order. Another thing I would say is just get one piece of paper, write down the names of your financial institutions, your insurance, things like that. Write down the account numbers, and then tell your personal representative or trustee that you've named in your will or trust, tell them where it is, so that when the time comes, they can go find that piece of paper. A third thing I would say is, well, you know, your will and your trust are kind of like the frame for a house. You need to fill that house. So you can keep a handwritten list of things that you want to go to people. For example, I wrote down, Sue gets china in the cabinet. Joe gets my engagement ring in my jewelry box. Jim gets my grandfather's watch in my jewelry box. It's in your handwriting, and you put it with your will, and then your personal representative just says, oh, well, there it is. And if you say to yourself, you know what, I want to give Jim my grandfather's watch right now. I'm going to give it to him for his birthday. You initial, you date, you're done.
Oh, that's so important.
And your personal representative just looks at the list and follows your directions.
And you were saying that keeping this with your other important documents is a good spot to keep it, so that way people can find it later on.
Exactly. And you don't have to share this with everybody. You just share it with your personal representative, and then that person, it makes it much easier for them when you do pass, because estate administration takes a lot of time and hours.
Is there anything we can do to keep our financial documents all together, or how can we streamline that process? Because I know that there are so many different pieces of paperwork that we go through.
Right. Well, like I said, I mean, there's kind of that 7-year rule. I mean, honestly, a file cabinet or a safe, something like that, where you can just keep everything together and limit what you do save. But it just makes it a lot easier. But that handwritten list, I always call that the map. I just follow the map. You know, sometimes people don't have a family member that can do this, or the person lives on the other side of the country, or maybe the siblings don't get along, so they will hire someone like TriStar Trust Bank, and they will name us in their estate planning documents, and then I get the honor of taking care of this for the family, so the family has time to grieve. They're not dealing with the paperwork. They're not selling the house. They're not having the estate sale. I handle that for them, and then they've got time to continue their family relationship.
So does it have to be handwritten? Is that something that you want?
A list does have to be handwritten, because, I mean, in the event that somebody were to go to court and argue about it, well, you would bring the handwritten list. Chances are everybody knows what the deceased's handwriting looks like. It's clearly there, and then you can just follow along. And a judge would say, well, it's handwritten. It's how much more, how much better can you get?
Yeah,
so
I could see that.
Yeah.
So are there any other ways you can make carrying out final wishes easier on a loved one?
Well, like I said, naming somebody, taking really into consideration who you would like to do this, because it is quite a labor-intensive job. But again, naming somebody like TriStar Trust Bank will take it off the hands of people who maybe don't have the time or don't have the knowledge to chase down these things. I mean, if someone has a business, for example, that business has to be closed. Or if they have very complicated real estate deals, there's a family farm, things like this. Sometimes it just makes more sense to turn that over to a professional and let them handle it.
Yeah, well, this is very good information. Thank you so much for being here with us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And if you want more information, you can check out the hot links section on WNEM.com.